Hi, this is Father Urban. It is Friday, September 20th. It's the memorial of Saints Andrew, Kim Tai-gon, and his companions, Korean martyrs. And obviously, you're not seeing my face. I had oral surgery on Wednesday. It's not because that I'm disfigured or in tough shape, but because I do want to show you what's on my screen. Um, One of the things I came across this just a day or two ago, and I'm surprised I hadn't seen it. It's from a Facebook curiosity. I don't know who he is or where he lives, but it's from August of 2018, so a little over a year. But he posted this rather interesting, or he may have shared it. I don't know if he created it or not, so I'll give credit where credit is due. If he did create it, thanks, Corey. But it says parents have over 3,000 hours a year, represented by the big tower of orange ping pong balls on the right, to teach their kids about Christ. The church, on the other hand, has an average of 40 hours a year, represented by the small vase of ping pong balls, with the child to teach them about Jesus. Parents, we can't rely on church to be the only place they learn about God. This is true for any parish, any Christian community, or whatever we want to call them. If the faith is not lived out at home, it is very likely that children will fall away, either in high school or shortly thereafter. Um, I remember doing the math one time, and I just did it on my phone because I can't remember it too well. But if you multiply 365 days in the year times 24 hours in a day, you get 8,760. Obviously, we need to sleep, so we take some of those hours off. But if we divide that over, say, 52 weeks, and let's just say it's by 60, because we have Christmas, we have holy days of obligation that might fall in the year. We may have a few funerals or weddings that we go to. Obviously, those aren't days of obligation. But if we could do 8,760 over 60, actually, I did the math wrong. 8,760 over. Oh, I did. I'm not a math major if you can't tell. Let's do 60 over 8,760. If I can do my math right. 60 over 8,760. It is times 100. It is 0.68%. That's how much time of the year that we'd spend in church. If we actually went every weekend, as we're asked to by God our Father. But my main point in sharing this or talking about this is that I went to Catholic school my whole life, from preschool all the way through college and into my graduate level seminary. Obviously, it's going to be a Catholic school. The fact that I went to a Catholic school and that many of my classmates did and friends, and we were all from different parishes in Sioux Falls, but there are people I never saw at Mass. Granted, I went to the same Mass for most of my life, usually Saturday at 4 o'clock with my parents, or depending on if I was working, I'd make sure I got there. I hardly ever saw my classmates, and a lot of them probably no longer practice the faith. I would bet at least 60% of them don't anymore. I may be generalizing, I don't know. I apologize if I am. But my point is that if the faith is not lived out at home, religious education is not going to have that big of an effect. What we do as a parish is meant to supplement and to add on to what you're doing at home. So if you're not doing anything at home to begin with, it's going to follow that it's going to be religious ed won't do a whole lot. I don't mean to sound negative. I'm so grateful for all the volunteers and teachers that I've worked with in my 8 years as a priest. Some very wonderful examples of faith and a giving of themselves. But parents, if you have children, and if you are not talking to your children about your faith as a family, you're missing. There's something missing. I don't mean to be hard on you. That's the last thing I want to do, but I want to offer this as an encouragement. Um, so do be sure to my prayers. This is not it's not a one person effort. I need to lead the way in doing this, and so yeah, that's all I have to say about that. Sounds like Forrest Gump. But I just want to offer this as a little bit of a wake up call. That sometimes, and that's what I talked about in the bulletin maybe just a few weeks ago, when Jesus talks about the qualities of a disciple from Luke 14. He talks about that we must take up our cross, and I think sometimes we underestimate what it's going to take to follow Jesus. So my hope and prayer is that we take this seriously, that it's not just kind of an isolated thing, that we compartmentalize our life. The 1 or 2 hours that we spend at church a week, it's good, but we need more. Do be sure to come to any suggestions, any input that you might have. May God bless you.